Hello booktube, how are you guys doing? My month of July didn't go as I planned because I have been doing a lot of stuff for school. I'm not in school currently, but I am starting school in fall. I'm starting nursing school, so I've been like preparing for that. My goal this year was to do booktubeathon, and I didn't even get to do that this year, and I felt like that would have been an ideal time to really get involved with the booktube community. So even though I didn't get to do booktubeathon, I was still keeping up with everyone's booktubeathon videos. So unfortunately, I didn't get to do that, but I still did get a lot of reading done thanks to audiobooks. Like, whoever invented audiobooks, I want to thank them because it allows me to get through my books, my TBRs, a little bit faster, but I did get a lot of reading done. I read a total of 8 books this past month. So I will go through all those books. I of course don't have all of them as a hard copy because most of them were audiobooks that I rented from the library, so they were sent back, and a lot of these books were just rented from the library as hard copies, so I had to return them. But I will always post a picture or something like that of like my Goodreads, so you can see the ratings as well as the book covers. So this past month I will go through the books that I read. Oh, let me just talk about the elephant in the room. This is my setting today, is my car, because I am on the run. I'm actually gonna go to the library, drop some books off, and I just have lots of stuff to do. Anyways, I read First Light by Bill Rancic, and if you recall, I did say in my TBR video for July that it's a survival story. It's about a couple that ends up, they had to go to work in Alaska, and on their flight back home to Chicago, I believe, was it Chicago? I think it's Chicago, but on their way back home on the plane, they happen to get into a plane crash. They are in the wilderness, like there's just snow, like there's nothing else but just snow. It's winter, it's like the dead of winter, and they crash. So it's literally just about them surviving, and it's told from 2 points of views. It's kind of like alternating chapters, so you're in the present, but it's not every chapter that's alternating. So you're in the present and you're in the past. Also, it alternates between the point of views, character point of views alternate. I thought the cover was really pretty, and it's a block of ice. It's a block of ice with a flower inside, and I thought it was just so cute. So anyways, I liked this book. It wasn't my favorite book of all time. So if you like survival stories and a little bit of romance, I would suggest this book. Maybe like a 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, the next book I read, and I do have a hard copy of this, but it's inside, Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. As you know, I told you last time that I bought the book in January, and I finally read it. Now, if you don't know, there's supposed to be a lot of controversy surrounding this book. I feel like you can look that up if you'd like. I'm not really going to get into it, but I don't think that anything was wrong with this book. It was very different, and it was hard for me to get into the world that Veronica Roth has set up. So I was kind of struggling with that in the beginning, and it took me a long time to get into it. And I was reading this as an audiobook and as the physical copy that I had, so I alternated reading between the two, and to be honest, it was just kind of confusing at some point, but I did like it. Will I continue the series, because I think there's going to be a book 2? Yeah, I think I will continue it. I just won't it'll probably be one of those things that I don't read right away. I just won't, because yeah. Finally, I read Crooked Kingdom, and I finished it. Leigh Bardugo is a mastermind. She is a genius. I love Crooked Kingdom. Now, I was watching someone else's review about this, and I feel like her channel is called The Book Basement, I think. I can't remember, and I apologize. I will find the other booktuber's review on this book. It's very thorough, and I will leave her video down below because I kind of agreed with a lot of things that she was saying. if you don't want a spoiler, don't watch this part. But the way that Leigh Bardugo wrote the character Kaz Brekker, I was like never surprised that he got out of a situation. I was surprised with how it all worked out usually, but I was never surprised with how he was able to always find an exit out of a situation. There was a death in here that I was like, what? I didn't even see that coming, and it was so stupid. Like the way that this person died, I don't even want to say it because I don't want to ruin it, but the way this person died, I was just like, wow, you survived so much to only to die such a needless death. Like that's the only part that I was just kind of like, why did you do that? But I did rate this book like, did I rate 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5? I don't know. I feel like it was a 5 out of 5 book though. If I rated it wrong, whatever. On my Goodreads, but it was so good. This book was so good. I really enjoyed it, and I really loved the Six of Crows duology. The first book was amazing. The second book was amazing, and I will definitely recommend this book to anyone that wants a constant adventure and action. Another book I read was The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. Trials of Apollo, book 1. Loved it. It was hilarious. It was an adventure, and it never, Rick Riordan, why am I holding this? Rick Riordan never disappoints, so I really am excited about this series, and I recommend this book. I highly recommend this book. Though my hands look huge, it's because of the way the camera's set up, but I highly recommend this book. And even though this was a middle grade book, I loved it. I loved it. And I don't have a problem with middle grade books, I just don't read a lot of them, but this one was hilarious and I love it. Another book I read was Sarah Dessen's Once and For All. That was a cute, touching story, and I cried. Yeah, I cried. No, seriously though, if you were looking for a contemporary love story, definitely a young adult contemporary love story, I definitely recommend it. I also finally read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child parts 1 and 2. How do I feel about it? Did I hate it? No. Could I have gone without reading it? Probably. But I'm a Harry Potter fan. I am a Potterhead. So I am without a doubt going to read everything that has to do with Harry Potter. So I was going to read it regardless. But I did not like Harry's character in this book. Didn't like it. I didn't like his son. I just was like, but it was okay. 3 out of 5. I'm sorry. I love you, J.K. Rowling. I love you, and you have created the best thing, one of the best things in my life, Harry Potter. But this book was there, and it was not written. It was not written by her. Like, she had other people that wrote it with her, and I can't even remember their names right now. But I'll post it down below. And I did finish Saga Volume 2, which was my graphic novel, Brian K. Vaughan. It was great, and I'm working on Saga Volume 3, so still working on that. And if you remember from my last video, I finished the Star-Touched Queen. I finished it like right at the beginning of the month, so I had mentioned that in my last video. But that's by Roshani Xoxo. I'll never get author names right, so I'm sorry. But yeah, okay, so that's all the books I read in July. Let's go on to the August TBR. Now in August, I don't expect to get a lot of books read because I am going to be starting school. Although I'm starting on the 21st, I've already got work to do for school before school has even started. So a lot of books have already started in audiobooks and in physical copies, so I'm just going to try and get through them right now. So the first book on my TBR is Wind Witch, the second book in the Witchlands series. It's by Susan Dennard. I am listening to it on audiobook as well as reading it, and I just want to say that I'm really confused. Like, I don't know. Somewhere along the lines, I got really confused, and I can't remember who this character is, but I've just kept reading because whatever. I think, so far though, I think that Truth Witch was definitely better than Wind Witch. That's okay because I feel like the next one will be great. The next one will be great, but this one's okay. The next book I'm reading on my TBR is Tears We Cannot Stop, A Sermon to White America by Michael Eric Dyson. Now, Michael Eric Dyson, I believe, is supposed to be like a He's an ordained minister, and I'm listening to it on audiobook as well as reading it here and there. It's not what I expected. It's not anything like hateful or anything like that, which is not what I expect. I didn't expect it to be hateful. He's speaking to white America. He's letting white America see a picture of what it's like to be black in America. And I think that it's a good book. It's a good discussion novel, and I really like it. Here's a quote from Stephen King, who read it, and I picked it up because I saw that. So it says, "Here's a sermon that's as fierce as it is lucid. It shook me up, but in a good way. This is how it works. If you're black in America, this is what happens, and this is how it feels. If you're black, you'll feel a spark of recognition in every paragraph. If you're white, Dyson tells you what you need to know. What this white man needed to know, at least. This is a major achievement. I read it and said, amen." Stephen King. That was the quote, one of the quotes on the back of the books, and I'm actually really liking it. The next book that I'm reading on my TBR, and I'm currently reading as well, is The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. And this book, I love her covers. It's the third book in the Remnant Chronicles. I think it's the last book as well. It's quite thick. It's the thickest of all of them. And I love her covers. Like, I think they're just so beautiful. But if you recall, I read The Heart of Betrayal recently, and I'm finally revisiting this world. It is a trilogy, so this is the last book. And I'm reading it through audiobook as well as the physical copy, because I have it here. The next book I'm reading that I don't have a copy of because I didn't rent it, I'm reading it as an audiobook, I'm listening to it as an audiobook, is Gilded Cage by Vic James. That is really good so far. I'm just at the beginning, so yeah. I am still reading Brent Weeks' The Black Prism. Still working my way down there. I'm only about 200 pages in. I know, I'm taking my time. The next book that I'm reading is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is one of those fantasy books that I have seen around. I'm also hoping to start or finish A Study in Charlotte. It is fairly small, so I should be able to. It's by Brittany Cavallaro. It's basically like a role reversal or gender reversal for Sherlock Holmes. It's like young kids playing detective, and not young kids, but like young adult playing detective, and I'm excited to read this. I'm excited to read all of my books, just in case I said that too much. Just want you to know. And I'm reading The Freemason's Daughter. I have also started this. I'm only a couple of pages in, so I'm working my way through this book, and I do use everything and anything for a bookmark, so you'll see like letters and all this stuff like just in there. But yeah, I'm reading this book. It's by Shelley Sakier, and so far it's great. I mean, I love books that take place in Scotland, so or Europe in general, but Scotland I love. Hello, the Outlander. Okay. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like, I saw this girl on the cover and I was like, whoa, she's so pretty. She's so pretty. So I was like, yeah, I gotta read it. I gotta read it. And it's in Scotland. I gotta read it. And it's taking place in England. She's Scottish. The main character is Scottish. Taking place in England. Jacobite time. Lastly, I am reading Close Enough to Touch by Colleen Oakley. And now, if you've read Everything, the book Everything, or seen that movie, I had a friend recommend this to me, Ashley, and she recommended this to me and told me that it's pretty similar, whereas the main character has a disease that doesn't allow her to be around other people. So far, I mean, I started reading this like in one day, and I got pretty far in it because it moves along pretty well, and it's kind of interesting, and I can't wait to finish it to see how everything kind of ties together and turns out. So yeah, that's my TBR and my July wrap up of everything that I'm reading currently and have read in the past month. I did want to tell you that my friend Ashley and I have started a Bookstagram, so if you're interested in checking that out, our handle is thepage-turners123. We would really appreciate your support if you go and follow us there. You'll see us post often there of what we're reading, what we finished reading, little bookish things, and we would be happy to have you there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please post below what you're reading, what you plan to read, and if you have any reading recommendations for me from any genre, I'm down for it. I'm here for it. Thank you guys for joining me. Have a great day.